Professions with the highest alcoholism rate. By the end of this video, you'll have 10 professions in which the alcoholism rate is insane. If you want to find and nurture your ideal occupation or business niche, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you know whenever a new video comes out. Also, remember to smash that like button. The first profession is people who are in mining. That's right, almost 20% of people in mining are heavy alcoholics according to some studies that have been done. This means that 1 out of 5 people who are doing that are actually a little too inebriated. And this probably has to do with the fact that it's been discovered that when you're in a job in which you have access to alcohol, but also you are under a lot of stress, especially in a lot of the ones that have to do with manual labor, as we'll see, you will tend to have a lot more people indulging too much in alcohol in order to deal with the stress, in order to take their worries away. Closely behind is number 2 with 17% of people in that being heavy alcoholics, and that is construction laborers. As mentioned before, one of the main issues with people getting alcohol from their occupation is probably because of the stress that they get from the physical labor that they do and the actual pain that they feel or the injuries that they get. That tends to make it so that people go for alcohol or other things in order to sort of numb the pain or feel a little better with themselves. Number 3, people in the accommodations industry, like hotels and other things like that, which deals with some of the other aspects that can put you at risk of being an alcoholic as well, like night shifts, shift work that can deal with your sleep. And when you have a sleep disorder, you're 2 times more likely to be an alcoholic, at risk of being an alcoholic, a heavy alcoholic. And you also have the social networking aspect of if you're dealing with clients and you're in the accommodating sector, then you're probably going to have to go and take a drink as a part of your job, among other things. And that can put you obviously at a higher risk of just continuing to drink more than you should. In the same vein, number 4 has to do with arts, entertainment, and recreation. And it's a similar thing. You're doing social networking, you're drinking as a social way of making connections and other things. And you are considerably more likely, because of the access that you have through your job to alcohol, to actually fall into it way too much. The next one, number 5, has to do with people in management. And 10% of people there, 1 out of 10, can potentially be heavy alcoholics, especially in this category, those who are in waste management, or basically people who pick up the trash, who deal with trash and all that stuff. This is likely because of the stress of the job and also the long hours that you can have in management positions that not only stress you out, but keep you away from your family, potentially creating that disconnection that makes you look for other alternatives to fulfill that need for connection. And it also has to do with the long hours themselves that I mentioned that can actually put more stress on you and mess with your sleep cycle, which we mentioned before was very important. This one might surprise you, but number 6 is actually cooks. So essentially, if you are a cook at a kitchen or anywhere else, you are at a very high risk of becoming an alcoholic as well, relative to the rest of the occupations. It probably has to do with the long hours, the stress, and the access that you have to alcohol itself. And you probably have to try it for different dishes, or in order to know what you're going to put in the table or recommend, or what you're going to order, among many other things. So you have a recipe for disaster. Wait, so if the people who deal with trash and the people who cook are more likely to be alcoholics, does that mean that in your home, the person who takes out the trash shouldn't be the one cooking? Comment below if you like alcohol, even if it's not in excess. Number 7, musicians. So yeah, you're out there, you're having fun, you're doing things probably at night when you're having concerts that deals with your sleep cycle. You're in an environment in which it's promoted to actually go and have fun, especially if you're doing stuff that has to do with rock, punk, and all that stuff. I'm being stereotypical here, but hey, that's usually the case. You go out at night and you do your thing. Many people sometimes struggle financially as well, especially if you're in an occupation that's a little bit harder to monetize, especially at the beginning. So there you have it. And oh boy, the next 2, they have been in another list. I'll put it here in the card somewhere. In our list of most dangerous occupations with people who had the highest chances of dying, we had very high in the list, the one that I'm going to mention now, and that is number 8, painters. So basically, if you're a painter, if you remember from that video, you are more likely to die because you're out in heights, among other things. But another reason for that is that a very high percentage of people there also have a very high chance of dying because of alcoholism. So if you're a painter, you're likely dealing with stress, likely dealing with other stuff, having long hours, perhaps having some, how do we call it? With your income not being had stable, perhaps, or knowing that it's gonna come in, like you're probably dealing with clients. So that is also a potential issue for you in that case. And at the end of the day, we have a lot of alcoholism there. And I guess if this is not something that you really want to do, perhaps steer clear of it. Number 9, roofer, who was also, that was also one of the occupations with the highest mortality rates in our most dangerous occupations video. So yeah, a big part of that mortality rate has to do with people going crazy with alcohol when it comes to being a roofer, and you're dealing with heights. So what are you doing? Are you like drinking and like doing your thing high up there in like a 4-story building or house? Like that's a combination for disaster. But as you can see, like we mentioned, many of the things that have to do with physical labor, manual labor, things that put stress and pain on your body, they have a high tendency of actually making someone go into alcohol. So yeah. Number 10, bartenders. Yes. And here you thought that access wasn't that important. Well, believe it or not, as creatures of habit, we humans tend to do things that we have access to and that are simple and convenient and easy to get. What is more convenient? What occupation has alcohol more at your fingertips than actually being a bartender? Not only that, not only do you have the access, but you have the social networking. You're supposed to be doing that with other people in a way, right? Like to socialize and stuff. And you also have the fact that you are messing with your sleep cycle because it is a night. It is usually night shift, and it is a shift occupation, which we mentioned before. And the more sleep deprived you are, again, you're considerably more likely to become an alcoholic. Not only that, but you can potentially have a stressful environment as a bartender. So you really reunite a lot of the things that make it so that someone is at a higher risk of becoming an alcoholic. So what professions did we leave out? Comment below, and remember to smash that like button before you leave this video. Also, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you know whenever a new video comes out.